Rock 108, Iowa's pure rock. Hey, it's Ned hanging out here at a coffee shop, right? It's a coffee shop. I was in Jackson, Minnesota today, and I just saw some coffee shop. I'm like, I'm gonna get some coffee. Turns out some guy's here. I don't even know who he is. I'm just kidding. It's Dave Ellefson of Ellefson Coffee Co, and of course, the bassist of Megadeth. How's it going, man?
Hey, great. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, definitely. I drove all the way from Waterloo, Iowa.
Wow.
It's about 3.5 hours. My boss said, he's like, dude, I told my boss, I'm like, hey, I'm going to drive 4 hours to get some coffee and hang with Dave. Is that all right? He's like, yeah.
Nice. You got a good boss. You got a cool boss. Thank you,
yeah,
boss.
dude, definitely.
Yeah,
so tell me how this all came about. I mean, you know, you see all these bands like Iron Maiden releasing beer and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Now, coffee.
Well, okay, so a year ago, I started Ellison Coffee Company, and we did it all online. We started with our first roast, was called Roast in Peace.
Right.
And then we moved to a medium blend, which is Kenya Thrash, and finally in the fall we released, what I wanted to have something for the cool female rocker chicks, so we called it She-Wolf, which is our light roast. and then right around that same time, I started talking to Susan Ryder, who this store that we're in here was formerly named Coffee Choices.
Right.
And so she wanted some kind of a new refresh here, and so the discussion led to why don't we start our very first Ellison Coffee Company retail brick and mortar location, which is now what this is.
There's a lot of people in here right now too, man. Yeah.
And we wanted to put a lot of memorabilia in here. We've become also a Jackson and Dean guitar dealer. We have EVH amps, SIT strings. So my idea was not only coffee, but also things from my record company, EMP Label Group. So we've got vinyl, CDs, T-shirts, coffee, food, guitars. So we really wanted to do something that really brought the creative arts community together.
So it's not just a coffee shop; it's the every shop.
It is.
It's called the every shop.
You know, to me, there was a music store down the street, Lusk Music, when I was a teenager, and they had records and guitars and amplifiers and stereos, and I would hang out there all the time. It was the place to hang, and kind of like it is today. This is the place to hang. Come in, hang out. And of course we have coffee, so you got some to drink.
I've already had some Roast in Peace,
and
I'm just like, I'm wired right
You're sweating.
now.
I'm
sweating. I got the coffee sweats from Ellefson Coffee Co.
Sweating bullets.
So now, obviously, you're basically in Jackson here because this is your hometown. I mean, I'm walking around, I look at like family pictures of you when you were younger, and your father and your mother too. It's kind of that you call it the Museum of Death.
Yes.
So
DETH, by the way.
DETH.
So you know, and a big part of that, of course, we want to have all this fun rock and roll memorabilia. My friends from Korn, Warren, Quiet Riot, as well as a bunch of actors from like Netflix's new show Stranger Things. They've given us some stuff to be able to put in here. So as well as from Walking Dead. So we've got all kinds of cool celebrities that have been kind enough to donate stuff. But also I wanted to do, you know, the Ellison family, we've been here since the late 1800s. We came over from Norway.
Right.
Put a staked some claim and had land, and our farm has grown, you know, pretty significantly. So to be able to also have something, my mother, father, and brother have all passed on, so I'm kind of last man standing here. So I wanted to have something that would also honor my family's legacy here in Jackson.
Yeah, and I think this is a really good thing to do, man. And it's cool. It's a nice little piece of town, you know. It's not like this crazy overblown city hard rock cafe. It's just like, it's awesome. It's just it's nice and calm and quaint, and it's Megadeth.
Well,
it's awesome.
It's like, and you know, because you've grown up, you know, in music and around music, and you know, the most believable, especially with metal. Metal is a very organic thing. It speaks to each fan individually. You know, there's a story that speaks to us through those loudspeakers when we hear these songs.
Right.
And that's very much the way the coffee community is. You know, to me, it needs to be organic. It needs to be real, authentic, because then it's believable.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And you know, you wake up every morning with a coffee, kind of thing like that. You kind of gets you moving, gets you growing, and you know, you can wake up with a beer if you want. I mean, it's up to you. Yeah,
it's one way to do it.
There is coffee beer. Have you ever thought about coffee beer?
Well, you know, the one thing that I'm thinking about next, you know, the cold brew thing has become quite popular, and now as we're starting to get involved with some of the major rock festivals, bringing the Ellefson Coffee Company and our brands and our roasts into that, you know, to be able to not only have hot coffee to kick you into the mosh pit, but when you come out, you can cool off with a cold brew.
I love this. This is so awesome. Just like, you think like, oh, I need some water. No, I need some hot coffee. Just get in there and get some cold brew afterwards. But obviously Megadeth, Grammy Award winning now, which is absolutely amazing. It's so cool to have you guys on that and keeping obviously rock music and metal music more in the community too. Because as we all know, the Grammys and rock music just never really got together in a way, but seeing Megadeth up there and Metallica obviously playing too was just amazing to see this year.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, very cool. And it's funny because I grew up around here. It was all we had two types of music: country and western.
Country and western.
And western, right? And I remember, in fact, I was at the Armory when I was probably, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, and a farmer family friend of ours came over and he put his arm around me and said, you know, you can be down there making $50 a night playing country. I said, you know what? I'll play rock and roll for free because I'm about rock and roll and
coffee.
And so it's cool to see that there's a community of us around here. And again, of course, we embrace all kinds of music, of course.
Yep.
But you know, it's fun that here we have a very creative crew of people here between Susan, the staff working in the kitchen, that we can like everything. We can be into all kinds of music, and of course Jackson is a town that has greatly evolved a lot. It's predominantly a farming community, but there are also a lot of people who like to play guitar. They love rock and roll. They love even modern country music and all kinds of different things. And I think we got something here that brings everybody together.
That's awesome, man. Now I have a question for you. What would it take to have one of these built in Waterloo, Iowa?
Well, let's talk.
Okay. And on top of that, have you ever thought about going outside of coffee, like other types of ventures, maybe like pizza?
Well, it's interesting because we were talking about doing a canned coffee, and as I've learned through this process, canned coffee sits much more in the energy drink sector rather than in the coffee sector.
Right.
So as I've talked to retail about it, so I'm actually in discussions with another company about starting up a new type of energy drink thing that would, my primary interest in that would be, of course, having the canned coffee, because I'm not a big energy drink guy, but I am a coffee guy.
Perfect. Awesome, man. Dave,
Yeah,
appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks
and
for
for the
coming.
redemption. I interviewed this guy a bunch of years back, and then the thing died. And now it's finally come together.
Awesome.
It's happened.
And thanks to your boss for letting him come out.
Yeah, all right.
Take
Thank
him
you,
back
Mike
some
Cross.
coffee or something.
Oh, he told me I had to.
Nice.
I had to get a nice dark brew.
There you
and
go.
it was, what was it called?
The Roast in Peace and the Urban Legend.
Yes, the Urban Legend. That's what it was. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, Dave. Thank you so
Cool.
much,
Thanks,
and keep tuned in to Rock 108.